How Long Gone, coming to you live from New York City in different places, but we're both here, which is feels good.
Oh, it's cold and wet here, bro. What the hell?
I wouldn't say it's cold, but it was wet yesterday. It was not good yesterday. But I'm sorry.
It's not good.
I'm sorry you had to travel during that mess. I know that really stresses you out.
I wouldn't say it really stresses me out. My body sort of gives up and I sort of just roll over and submit to the punishment. But it was the first time I've been on one of those flights where the landing is like scary spice. You know,
I've honestly, and this is not me being tough because we all know I'm a pussy. I've never felt scared on a plane in my entire life. I don't know why. I just can't imagine that it will happen to me, no matter how bad the turbulence gets or how small the plane is.
I know what you mean. I didn't feel like I was going to die or I was in danger.
Sure.
But it was, there's like the two different kinds of turbulence. There's like everything is fine, you're flying normally, and then you just drop really quickly, and then that kind of, you get the little
stomach.
The butterflies in the stomach, but not in a good way.
Something I chase on the roller coasters, but go ahead.
Yeah, you get the roller coaster feel. Ugh. It's more fun on the roller coaster when you're preparing for it, and less fun when you've got, some bubbles to start and you're watching American fiction and your sun chips go a-flying. But we had more of just the wobbly, woozy, just an hour and a half, 2 hours of just like, and then you look out the window and it's just gray, rain. You can't see anything. You don't know what your altitude is.
Yeah. I like the idea that if you knew what the altitude was, that would mean something to you.
I'm on the movies when the pilot's tapping his gauges.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
I'm over here tapping my gauges on my altimeter. I can't get a read on it. It's giving Bermuda Triangle, but obviously my altitude does not. Me as a passenger, it doesn't mean jack shit, but I feel grounded when I can see the ground, I should say.
No, you don't.
You look out the window and you're like, not to be so literal, but it's true. But you look out the window and you're like, oh, great, we're over the ocean. I'm going to die. Versus like, oh, we could sort of land in that field, maybe, that kind of thing.
No, it's wishful thinking.
But yeah, it's fine. We had to miss dinner because I was so late. We did that cool move where after one of those death drop landings, then you sit on the tarmac for 2 hours.
Yeah.
While the captain goes, we can see our gate, but we're there. The airport has no employees working here to receive us.
So we can the gate's not available right now. So
yeah, an hour later, he's like, so we did land at the airport. We are in America. I think.
Honestly, that makes me crazy. That shit makes me fucking crazy. When we sat on the tarmac for like 3 hours taking off from Korea, and I was like, you can't make this flight longer. You know what I'm saying? You can't add 3 hours of tarmac sitting to a 14-hour flight. Like it really hit me below the belt, let's say.
Tarmac Sitta.
Yes, exactly. My new single Tarmac Sitta is dropping soon. But yeah.
I did finally watch American Fiction though. Friend of the show and ex-guest Cord Jefferson's film, and I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I'm glad.
Winner. I tried to watch Zone of Interest, but it was a little too dark. I couldn't really get into it.
Bro, who cares? That sounds fucking boring as hell. I have no interest. No pun intended.
I'll watch it again one day, but
it's clocking in at 90, or excuse me, at 2.5 hours. Correct? Like it's no joke.
I didn't make it to the end. An hour in, I was like, so this Nazi is still gassing people to death, and then he's gonna walk his dog, and then he has a meeting, and then his kid goes in the backyard. Okay, this is the most boring shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm sure I missed something or I wasn't in the mood. I'll revisit it again one day, but it wasn't moving the chains for me.
That's interesting that you're a revisitor. I can't even. I don't think I've ever done that. I don't think I've ever like started and been like, oh, I'm not in the mood, and then actually gone back and watched something.
Isn't that cray? But yeah, here we are.
I mean, I guess on a plane, things are different.
Yeah, everything's different. But yeah, I'm here. I'm safe and sound. I'm staying in a cute little neighborhood called Times Square.
It's like the West Village, but like a little louder.
Every single person seems to be Russian here.
You mean like tourists
in Midtown? Yeah, every tourist is like a Russian person on their cell phone who stops their conversation to look and laugh at me, and then talk about me in a language I don't know about.
This sounds like some classic TJ paranoia. But I mean, what would they? Is it because of your outfit or your height?
Probably the height, maybe.
They don't have them big in Russia? I feel like everything in Russia is big.
Yeah, they do have a lot of big boys in Russia, but they really be talking.
More wide than tall, though, I guess. That's
They're built like a brick shithouse, these types.
Just please don't confront any of them, because they will kill you and not think twice about it.
That's why I'm so frustrated and I have to take it out on them on my podcast.
So the Russians are going to the fucking Eminem experience in Times Square, and you got to duck and dodge. They're hitting the Sour Patch Kids store, and Jason's got to take a hard right.
We want Reese's Pieces.
I love you going into the Eminem store to check it out, and it's just only Russians and you just don't understand what's going on. Why is this happening?
I went into the Eminem store, and an employee walked up to me and he's like, "Oh my God, just take whatever you want. It's all free for you. Just thank you so much for being here.
We love you. Do you like peanut butter, pretzel? What do you want?"
There's no price.
Oh man, I've actually never been to the M&M store, but I've
Oh, you must.
Since I'm off M&Ms, I think it would be too tempting. I think it'd be too. It would be like going into a fucking Pfizer plant.
I'm off M right now.
I'm off M right now.
Yeah. So you just got back from ATL. You're back in New York.
Yeah.
And now we're just thriving.
I got back yesterday too. My flight left at 8 a.m. I got back by 10. It was actually pretty good. Everything worked out, except then I got here and it was pouring rain. But yeah, everything was good. Another great experience from the Delta Airlines Corporation. Just leaving on time, landing early. Even we had a crazy tailwind. Oh my God, we got.
I was just talking to my good friends at a Delta Diamond telephone line right before we hopped on this call.
Did they treat you with respect?
They did treat me with respect, while they gave me a very large number of dollars that it would cost to change my flight. Sure.
Well, it's always more than you want it to be. I'll say that. How much? You can bleep it out.
Oh,
okay. For both?
No, per person. Just for me.
Okay.
Carolyn would be.
Oh, that is high. That is high. That sucks. Usually, if it's under 1,000, it's like, all right, fuck it, whatever. If you have to do it, but over 1,000, I don't know why. It feels bad.
Old KK might have to come out of pocket for this one. We're having a fun morning so far. But let's not talk about bad stuff. Let's talk about good stuff. Our guest today is an authoress. Did you read the book? Did you get the book?
Yeah, I've got the book. Yeah.
What does it take for them jeans to get a copy of this book, or did you buy it?
No. You should probably just ask for it. Is usually how that works. If you want one.
Who did you ask? Just for moving forward.
She asked me, but you could ask her.
Oh. So it's a normal thing to ask an author for a free copy of their artwork?
Yeah, are you kidding me? These fucking that's the only way. I mean, these publishers.
I'm not kidding. I don't know how this game works. It feels disrespectful.
Any book you want, you ask a publisher, they will send you that book, and you'll have it the next day without fail.
Yeah, but that's you. We're talking about me. You know what I mean?
No, it's still the same. It's absolutely the same. If you have the email address, then they will send you the book that you asked for. Like if you're able to get in touch with them, they'll happily send you the book, and it's always quite fast. I don't like when it's like I don't like getting like the manuscript. I like it to be finished. Right. Sometimes they'll send you like it's too early, but it's like a pre-galley. I'm all set on that, but I like a finished version. But yeah, you just ask and they'll send it to you almost without fail.
Okay, this is good. This is why I ask. Thanks, Chris.
Well, actually, no, most of the time it's stuff I want if I'm asking. When it's some shitty cookbook that they want us to have the on the podcast, I'm like, I don't need this. Please do not send it to me. The amount of cookbooks I have is crazy, considering I've never even cracked open a cookbook in my entire life.
Mm-hmm. The only time maybe if the pages were particularly absorbent, if you spilled something, you might rip a few out to mop up a spill on the floor.
I just use them. I use all my cookbooks as paper towels.
Honestly, we're joking, but this could be is it a bug or a feature? Printing on paper towel.
It feels sustainable to me in a lot of ways. To be completely
at the very least.
At the very
least. If you don't think our world is in danger, it's time to take a look in the mirror, Chief.
Get your head out of your ass, big boy. All right, yeah. Lauren Oyler's new book, No Judgments, No Judgment Essays, is out now. I think she's in America right now, actually. I think she's still maybe on the tail end of her book tour, or maybe she's visiting her family.
Where does she normally live? In London?
Berlin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every time I see her name, I'm reminded of my high school days, because the mascot of Huntington Beach High School was the Oyler.
But the regular spelling.
Yeah.
Damn.
The petrol spelling, the fossil fuel spelling. Not how's
the merch looking for Huntington Beach High Oilers? Is it like the?
It's a little. I don't know what it looks like now. Before it was kind of giving like prospector. Like it's like the oil rush vibes.
Sure. Yes.
But now they probably modernized it and made it look goofy and stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they usually do that with. I'm sure they've done an update many times over. I'll check the merch store online.
Do that.
All right, let's give Lauren a buzz.
Okay, how long gone? We're here with Lauren Oyler. We need to get into this fucking bullshit. What were you saying?
You're saying that we're second on the docket today, or you've done this?
Wait, you guys, I'm a girl boss. You're number one in my heart. I love hanging out with small groups of men. But I was interviewed by some Canadians an hour ago. So
Canadian men or Canadian women?
Women. But I was thinking of you the whole time.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
I wonder what the boys are doing right now. That's the kind of stuff you're thinking about. When you said you like to hang out with small groups of men, I need a number amount on what is too many men to hang out with.
Too many men, I would say 5 is too many.
So it's like a dinner res. We like a 4 top. That's good. Anything more than that, it starts getting murky.
Yeah, and like they're competing, and then they sort of start talking about sports or philosophy, and you don't really want to talk about that, and then you have to like quote something.
I want to make it very clear.
You only have 2 ears and 2 hands.
Yeah,
there's only so much you can handle.
We're only gonna. We would never talk about philosophy or sports. Don't worry about us. Like you're
certainly not.
You're in a safe space.
I actually, I'm really into the intersection of those 2 things right now. If you wanted to sort of sidebar on that for a hot 45. No, we're just kidding. I'm glad. Thanks to the Canadian homies for warming you up.
Yeah, I'm warmed up. I had a beer.
Whoa.
I'm
okay, calm
great.
down. Where are you? Are you home? Are you back in Berlin? Or are you somewhere in?
I'm home in Berlin. It's actually sunny.
Oh no!
I'm at peace.
Oh no!
You're like, she's wasted.
It's if it's sunny in Berlin, that just means a bunch of people with bad haircuts are out laying down on the grass drinking wine somewhere. So it's just
it rained, so the grass is wet. But the thing about Berlin that's funny is there's a distinct moment every year where like the hot people come out, and you're like, where were these people? They're like really like hot, really really hot people, and they were not around all winter. And you're like, what? Where did you come from? Because they don't seem like they're visiting. Like they live there, but like where did they go?
They've been in hibernation on ice.
Yes.
And you're singing Rihanna, "Where Have You Been All My Life?"
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm always on the prowl.
It's partly because maybe they're just inside making techno in the winter months because that's a better use of time.
We've been on tour, stupid. I've been in Santiago, Chile.
Where do Germans go for a warm holiday? Spain?
Oh, thank you for asking that question. They go to Mallorca. There is a street. There's streets in Mallorca. There's Schinkenstraße, which is Ham Street, and there's Bierstraße, which is Beer Street. I think these are colloquial, or they're colloquial terms in Mallorca for the places that the German tourists like to go.
To be clear, sorry for interrupting. You just said Ham Street, as in ham, like the pork food product.
Yeah, Schinken.
Okay.
Schinken is sort of like bacon, but it's not quite. It's certainly not the bacon that we know and love as Americans.
Sure.
They have lots of different kinds of pork products.
Okay.
But yeah, and then,
I can only imagine.
Bierstraße, which is Beer Street, and then they also like to go to Thailand, which
because they're sex freaks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're sex freaks, but they can only do it in a certain context. Like it has to be like the appropriate place to be a sex freak. That's why they also have Berghain, because like that's like where you can be like a sex freak, but you can't be a sex freak like just at the bar or anything like that.
So when you go to Beer Street, is that kind of a
where'd
street
they land on that name anyway? What a fun lined with places to drink beer, and then Ham Street is lined with places to enjoy Yamon. I just keep thinking Ham Street is just like a derogatory term where they say all the fat people go.
That is, you know,
look at all the big backs on Ham Street.
It's like there's Boys Town for the gay guys. Yeah. Oh, that's Ham Street over there. That's where the fatties go. Like that kind of thing.
I've never been, so I can't speak to it. I'm not German. I'm from West Virginia.
That's right.
Also, the last place I was in the United States, I got back to Berlin yesterday morning, but I was in West Virginia seeing my family. So if you hear the Appalachian, the tones, the sexy tones, that's where that's coming from.
I thought I smelled OxyContin through the Zoom, but I guess.
Oh no! Don't say that.
Don't say that.
No.
We don't say the O word. We don't say the O word, Chris.
So can I? Is there a direct flight from West Virginia to Berlin?
Shut the fuck up! Don't mock me. Don't make fun of me.
That
ain't right.
There is not a direct flight to Virginia from West Virginia, Chris. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. I traveled for 20 hours. My flight from Charleston, West Virginia, left at 6:15 in the morning to DCA, Reagan National Airport. I stayed at Reagan National Airport for 5 hours.
Our last good president. Continue.
Yeah. I stayed there for 5 hours, and then I took a flight to Newark, and then I had a 2-hour layover, and then I flew from Newark to Berlin.
Oh, shit. That sucks. You couldn't go from DC. You couldn't go from DC to Berlin. I assume there was no. DC's big.
Yeah, DC is big, but Berlin is small. They opened the new airport in Berlin after like years and years and years of them saying they were going to open this new airport because the main airport, the former main airport, Tegel Airport, which is widely beloved by Berliners, was like way too close to the city, and like it was like basically like almost dangerous, and it was too small. It was designed I can't remember what it was designed, but it was designed for basically like it was
charming though. It was kind of charming.
Yeah, it was really charming, and it was like you didn't like have to walk through a mall to get to your gate. Like it was very easy. You could take the bus there, and everybody was like furious that they were going to close it and couldn't possibly believe that they were going to close it. But it was designed for like, I think I just looked at this for some reason. I think it was designed for like 1 million people like a year or whatever. Right. And like it was like 4 million people were coming through there all the time. So they had to make a new airport. But then as soon as they opened the new airport, everybody was like, this airport sucks. Fuck Berlin airport, like blah, blah, blah. It's perfectly fine. It's a completely normal European style airport. And I like this about it. It's like not really a European capital in certain ways. It's like halfway to Eastern Europe. So they don't like the flight situation. There's only one direct flight to New York per day, I believe.
I was in the airport recently. It was pretty nice though. The new one.
It's perfect. It's perfectly nice. They had some issues. My friend was there a few weeks ago, and like the power went out, so they couldn't like put anyone through security. And they had some like luggage issues where like every single person lost their luggage for some period of time. But that seems like a normal airport. It's like welcome to reality, where we were like Berlin was like living in this fantasy world, and it's like, yeah, that happened.
We got to get the kinks out. It's new.
I know.
You know, I'm sure there's a learning curve for all of.
We had a challenging onboarding.
But I was thinking about Berlin. Like I talked to Chris last week, I guess, whenever that was. And you said, I still feel like New York is like the most important city in the world. What is the most important city in the world? And I was thinking about that today because I was like, oh, actually what's nice about Berlin is that nobody wants it to be the most important city in the world. And it's certainly not the most important city in the world. Like they just want it to be what it is. And the New York psychosis is that like, if it's not the most important city in the world, like what do we have? That's all. That just some thoughts from the cultural critic Lauren Oyler. To get us going.
Okay. So
anyway.
You're saying that so what I'm understanding from that is that you're saying part of Berlin's charm is that it doesn't want to or aspire to be the most important city in the world. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Which
what
makes
it is.
it cool, humble, and pleasant.
Yeah, and they hate the nice new airport, even though it's like much more convenient in many ways. I think like Google tried to open some offices down the street from my house, and like they were so reviled and like vandalized so often that they're like, you know what, fuck you guys, like we're not going to do that. Obviously, they hate the Tesla factory that is near the new airport. In fact, but I think it's like far enough away from the center of town that people certainly protest it. But like everyone's like, fuck you, we hate this. And of course, it's nice that it's like this because it's still in the middle of Europe. You can still get anywhere. Like you still have your mod cons, as the British say.
What's a mod con?
Modern convenience?
What is a mod? Yeah, modern convenience.
Modern convenience. Okay.
Sick.
Wow, I've never heard that one before.
Go TT.
That's depressing as hell.
Yeah.
Not for me. I got it first try. It's not a big deal. Okay, so
yeah, that was great. You spent enough time in London.
Not really. Much less than both of you guys combined. I wanted to ask. So you did just do an interview before talking to us. You've probably been doing a lot of press and interviews, book tour stuff. It's part of the job. Mm-hmm. And the book is sort of about anxiety, I believe. Mm-hmm. What interview or piece of press so far has made you the most anxious?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I was just anxious. I was most anxious that I wasn't going to get any because this is some inside baseball stuff. But March 2024 was considered the most crowded month in book publishing that has maybe ever happened. And like all of the books that were coming, I was like Judith Butler, like Vincent Cunningham, like blah blah blah. Like there was like a list, like LitHub did a list of like all the books that were coming out in March, and they didn't even put mine on it. And I was like, "Excuse me, I'm sorry. Like what's wrong?" And so then I was like, "What's gonna happen to me?" And I was like really, really nervous about this. I was like drinking so much and smoking so many cigarettes, and like the beer didn't work. And I was like, I gotta go to Beer Street. I gotta go to Ham Street. What's gonna happen? And so I had to.
Usually, the drinking and smoking is great for anxiety.
yeah. It didn't even. I was like, I would drink like three beers, and I would be like, I don't feel anything. So I had to do some like old school Twitter addict like guerrilla missions, like trying to get people to pay attention to my book, which worked out very well because I got this kind of crazy review in The Guardian maybe like a month before the book came out.
Yeah, I saw an excerpt of the book in this local zine, the New Yorker or something like that. So you're able to get some cool kind of DIY press like that.
Yeah. I'm like working for street cred, you know. I'm not a sellout.
Sure.
Sure. But I was nervous. I was like, what's gonna happen? So once I started getting reviews, I was like, that's fine. People can say whatever they want to about me. As
long as they're saying something about you.
The people are saying stuff. I can take it.
Can you? I was gonna ask you because some people are going in.
Yeah, but it's the thing is, I didn't know that I was doing this at the time. But if you develop a reputation as like a harsh book critic, it ends up being like the obvious thing to try and take me down. And
Yes,
so it's like,
yes,
you're like,
for
okay,
sure.
like nice try.
I would love to judge this bitch.
Yeah, I know. And but they want it too bad. You know what I mean? Like the reason I'm good at
I'll
it
do
is
it for free.
Yeah, the reason I can do it is because I'm like a reluctant hero, where I'm like, I'm been called to serve, and I was like, I thought I got out of this, but this book was too bad, But so
they keep calling me back.
They keep calling me back. I wanted to do. I had an idea that was like evil, that I wanted to like write panning my own book. Everyone tries to take me down because I'm known as a harsh critic. Unfortunately, they're all really bad at it. Here's how it's done. But the publicists in my life were like, please don't do that.
Can you please just give? Please, we've had enough of you. Okay, it's been a busy month.
Yeah, I guess is that it's bordering self-harm.
Yeah, and also I didn't want to write an article, so and it would probably require me to read my book again, which I also don't like doing. Also self-harm.
You're like, now that I'm a published author, I think writing an article is kind of beneath me at this point in my career, even if it is a satirical review of my own self.
I love writing articles, but you can tell I'm having you can tell I'm very anxious, or like something's going on with me psychologically. Like when I say I feel like writing a magazine article, because I find them so torturous and like so difficult to do. And so if, like my friends or my boyfriend, I'm like, I feel like writing a magazine article. I haven't done one in a while. They're like, don't do that. Put the computer away. Here's some drugs. Like, let's go partying right now. Like we need to weaken her resolve immediately. I don't know.
Okay, so that's a telltale sign of things are going bad when you feel the urge to write a magazine article.
Yes.
Okay.
So perhaps the book tour is more stressful.
Why does that tear you up so much? Is it about the timelines? Is it about getting it done? What's the issue?
She likes the pain. It's like a cutter.
Well, it's like a cutter. Yeah. I think that I'm very bad with deadlines, but I'm sort of knowingly so. But I really can't start writing until like it's basically due. And now I work with people who sort of know this about me, but so they give me a deadline, and I know it's kind of a fake deadline, but then I know that, so then the deadline isn't real. So then I sort of have to do this kind of stupid pathological dance where I like try and like let it go as long as possible until they start sending me emails that indicate like, actually, really, you need to do it now, because the true deadline where it's not going to go and the issue is going to pass. So like I have to get into this like anxious like state where like my life is about to fall apart before I can really do it.
It's called edging. Mm-hmm. It's called edging. I do it all
There's
the time.
There's a word for that.
It's called edging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I like doing magazine articles, but if you're an artist like myself, you can't. There's a ceiling to how good they can be. And like, you're not going to like do your best, like creative, like spectacular argumentation, or your best, like, it's just not going to be your best work. Hopefully.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Got it. Yeah. Hopefully your best work is not a magazine article. Okay. I see your point.
Yeah, exactly.
No shade to magazines.
No, I love magazines.
Cover your ears, Will Welch.
We're
not talking about
the best stuff I've seen lately is an anonymous Substack. So magazines have their work cut out for them. I have to say.
Yeah. You don't like what The Cut is doing with the, I guess it's not.
Are you talking about the personal essay where someone embarrasses themselves for $300?
Yeah, I am talking about that. Well, it's just funny. I thought we were sort of over that. I thought everyone had agreed that was unethical.
I don't think
it is interesting to.
I don't think it's unethical. I do think it's fleeting. I feel like you get 12 hours of action from that, and then it's completely over. And you have to have the burn rate is very high on that kind of thing.
And then also, but the person who writes it lives with the embarrassment forever.
Yes. Well, it's embarrassing to do anything.
Yes.
So I guess it's, trying to do anything is deeply embarrassing.
Just literally anything.
Literally anything.
I know.
So getting ripped off for $50,000 or marrying an old guy, I guess it could be worse.
It could be worse. I think if you write something good about that, then you get a compensation prize, right? But if you just write a cut article about it, like you really have just been ripped off and you've added insult to injury.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like I was talking to someone about the more recent essay, which was about like, oh, I marry an old guy, but it was actually marry a rich guy, like about this is sort of lacking self-awareness.
My favorite one
thing. But there was like a moment at the beginning where she could have been kind of ironic, and there was like a point at which it turned, and you were like, oh no, this person is serious, and she's going to say all this stuff seriously. But there is a point in all of these kinds of personal essays where you can. They could have gone the other way, and they could have said, here's how the personal essay that I might have written about this for $300 could have gone, but I'm going to parse all of the stupid bullshit that is involved on this issue and sort of implicate myself in that and say like, I also thought this stupid bullshit, but now I have realized that I was an idiot. But they never do that, right? They always like need to save face somehow by being kind of earnest.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Anyway, I hate magazines.
Taking the pussy ways out.
I love magazines. I hate writing magazine articles. Also because I find editors oppress me and they stifle my creative genius.
Preach, girl, preach.
So you mean you send them way too much and they whittle it down for you, and that upsets you?
No, so I don't often send way too much. Sometimes I send a bit over, but often they'll take a bit over. It's more like they want you to like pull out certain parts that are not your favorite parts, or they like cut all the jokes. Like the first thing they do is cut the jokes. Mm-hmm. And in the book, I think you can see like I go on a tangent, and then you realize like by the end why the tangent is related, but you have to sort of, it's like latent as opposed to in a magazine article. Like they want everything to be a little bit spelled out. And again, I find that stifles my creative spirit. so it's frustrating. Anyway, I love Harper. I love writing for Harper's Magazine. Wonderful magazine. They're great. Let me do all sorts of crazy stuff.
How's the pay? How's the pay over there at Harper's? Pretty good.
Pays great. Yeah. It's not
okay.
I believe the best paying. Like I believe the best paying magazine is the New York Times Magazine. I could be wrong. I mean, also it depends on your negotiation tactics. I don't negotiate because it's not in my nature.
Does somebody from your team handle that?
Have you ever thought? Have you ever thought about maybe changing your nature? Because it seems like you're leaving some money on the table.
I probably am, but the thing is, so they have this. There's this saying in freelance writing. I'm sure they have versions of this saying and all sorts of things. But as a freelance writer, you have to be on time, good, and easy to work with. Pick two. Mm-hmm. And I'm not on time. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be really good and I'm going to be easy to work with. And so I'm
familiar with that. But it's usually hot, rich, or smart, or the three kind of. And you got to pick two. But I know that.
And which two are you?
Let's go pay some bills.
Yeah, actually, I don't have two. Fuck, I'm like half of one, and that's smart.
Yeah, well,
which is the least interesting one.
No, that's the best one.
I don't know what I'm.
That's the best one.
No,
it's the best one.
Rich is the best one. Let's be honest. Rich is the best one.
No, I'm a Berliner. We don't like that stuff.
I'm not saying rich and dumb. I'm just saying rich and not maybe as smart as others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
there's levels to.
He's willing to sacrifice a little bit of knowledge.
I'm willing to sacrifice exactly. I'll leave a little knowledge on the table.
Mm-hmm. Move it around. Diversify.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to intimidate people. They don't like it. They don't like it. You use a big word. They're like, "Well, you think you're better than us, huh?" And you're like, "Well."
That's true. That's my Southern shame. You know, yes. when I go home to visit my family and they're all calling me Hollywood. You know, it's
Mr. New York Times,
live with this,
huh?
Yeah, exactly.
How much did those shoes cost?
This is all stuff that has happened to me. It hasn't happened in a long time, but all of that has definitely happened to me. Did you, when your family, when you went back to visit,
shoes cost?
When you went back to visit your family, were they kind of looking at your away suitcase and asking how you got so rich?
Certainly not. But when I'm in West Virginia, like just when I'm out and about, like sometimes people will be like, "You're not from here, are you?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I am from here." But I could just not like wear all black and like sing, you know, I like dress like a celebrity incognito. Like I don't really need to do that. But no, my family is like is sort of with it, and they don't judge me.
Mm-hmm. They get the Peacock channel.
They're MSNBC liberals. But
wait, hold on. They're liberals?
Yeah.
Oh, then you're not Southern.
They got some of those down in West Virginia.
No, we're taking away your Southern card.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
If your parents are Biden supporters, you're not from the South. Sorry.
Oh my God. First of all, West Virginia is technically the North. Otherwise it wouldn't exist. They seceded from Virginia in 1863 because they didn't want to own slaves. Not because they weren't racist.
Okay, calm down. All right, calm down, social studies teacher. Calm down.
Not because they weren't racist, but because they were so poor they don't want to pay taxes on them.
To be clear, we are racist and we love slaves. We just wish they were cheaper and more affordable.
I am not racist. That's why I left. What was I going to say? West Virginia. No, I have lots of street cred West Virginia stories that unfortunately I'm not going to tell you because it's too real. Anyway.
Yeah, there's still a couple cold cases out there.
Yeah.
Hold on. When you what are you saying? It's too your stories that show how authentically West Virginian you are would get you in some sort of trouble, or
what she's saying it was self defense, but the court may not see it that way.
Did you ever, Robert?
No, I'm just like I'm not trying to go on the Coastal Elite podcast and like embarrass my family and people I grew up with. You see what I'm saying? You know.
About the one time you stole a tractor, kind of, the crimes are not going to be giving chic, is what you're saying.
It was accidental. You didn't mean to run over that person with your truck. It's a Caitlyn Jenner situation. We know how it goes.
Oh my God, I could say something and you guys would shut up and you would feel so bad, but I won't. Anyway.
Yeah, you can't shut us up. We're going to do a podcast.
No. You would be like, I'm sorry, Lauren. That sounds terrible. I'm sorry you went through that. Anyway.
We could talk about this awful life-altering tragedy that happened to you off the record, maybe.
Yeah.
Later.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were talking about sort of drinking and smoking as in the realm of anxiety activities, but what about anxiety eating? What is where do you run to, and have you found a way to kind of do it in a healthy way?
Oh no, I don't eat. That's my issue. And then you get more anxious, like you're like shaking because you're like, oh, I haven't eaten because I'm like nauseous, so I don't want to eat. Because I'm too anxious. I'm unfortunately one of those girls. So yeah, it's like a bad feminist kind
Door
of thing.
swings both ways.
Yeah, and also I am like incredibly lazy, and I have a neurosis about like going to the grocery store, and I like hate that you have to pick something to eat 3 meals a day. I find this overwhelmingly taxing. And so the combination of these two things is like, and I have a bad schedule. Let's say like I have a bohemian lifestyle where like I don't wake up at the same time every day. Like I get drunk at 4 PM. Like I do also, I went to spin class at noon today or whatever. So like you don't eat at a normal time. So then you
Das is crazy.
I want to talk about a German spin class, but go on.
We can talk about it.
We will talk about it. Let's say best case scenario, you become a wildly successful authoress. So much so that you have maybe can afford a private chef to live in home. Is that something that would be appealing to you, or would you not be able to handle that either?
Well, I don't want them to live in my house.
Well, they come in from time to time, make you lunch and leave.
No, that's not really appealing.
Okay.
What's appealing is like having enough money to just like eat out all the time. I think.
There we go.
To
baby.
be honest,
you're speaking my language.
Support local businesses.
Okay.
Have the ones that you go to. Like, not be too neurotic about it.
Sure.
A chef is upsetting to me on many levels.
And like the convention of a chef, or a chef being in your personal space.
The Jon
or just,
Favreau film, I hate it too. But go on, please. I'd like to hear more about this.
You don't want to see them work. Maybe you just want to taste their.
Well, I also think like if you're someone's private chef, like that's probably a good job. But I don't want them in my house. I don't want to be alienated from my kitchen. Like, I don't want to like not know what's in there. I don't want to not know like what ingredients I have in case I do want to make something.
Whose yogurt is this?
And I also don't want to, I also don't, I feel like it's like another thing to manage, which I'm like terrible at. Right. So I'm like, I don't want to like tell you what I feel like eating today because I don't know. And I don't want to have that conversation. And then I don't want you to like make me something that I also don't want to eat.
Wow. I thought I had anxiety.
The class thing is so, it's like, it's just, I would rather like go down the street to the fucking salad place or whatever and pay $13 for whatever stupid
Me too.
Healthy thing. You know,
I would a driver I want. A chef I don't need.
Well, I have no need for a driver. I want the money to like do anything conveniently like when I need to, but not regularly. I like my bohemian schedule. What I need to do is like grow up and just go to the grocery store all the time. It's a 6-minute walk away from my house. And I live in Germany. Like the groceries are very affordable. Like I should just go to the grocery store and not eat a fucking protein bar because I didn't eat lunch.
Maybe your boyfriend can get in the kitchen.
Well, he does. He's a great cook. But
at what cost?
I have a feminist belief in equality, and I'm like, I don't want my boyfriend to be cooking for me all the time.
That's more of a woman's job anyway. So
yeah, the classic.
Yeah.
You belong in the. Go make me a sandwich, woman. Like, but for dudes, kind of thing.
I know. But I don't want to do that. I like. I also like. I'm quite good at cooking. I just don't do it that often, but I like everything about surprising. I like surprising people with how good I am at cooking.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend in Canada. She's really hot, but
she's really hot. She goes to the other school. She goes to other school.
She's really hot.
This is only helping when I eventually make you dinner. You're gonna be like,
that's
all right,
true.
we really doubted you.
We're edging again.
What is your go-to dish that you feel so confident about? Big dick on the table.
What's Oyler's showstopper?
Oh no, I mean they're just recipes. But so some people are bad at following recipes, but I make like Szechuan food all the time.
Oh, mine bad.
Yeah.
Sorry. I ain't eating no Szechuan food cooked by a white chick that lives in Germany.
Well, you live in Germany and you get a little bit tired of eating bad Chinese food, maybe you'll come to my house and you'll eat your words instead of my mapo tofu.
Okay.
And everyone's else.
Beautiful. I can only imagine your wok shui. Not a joke, not an insult. I was being for reals.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah, Chris, you were talking about the German precision of SoulCycle. I would like to hear a little bit more about that as well.
Okay, the German precision. I like how you pronounce that as well. SoulCycle.
Thank you.
So the spin class I go to here is not a SoulCycle style spin class. It is they measure your heart rate, so that's how they like keep your points.
Yeah, there's a place like that in America that was very popular as well.
Yeah.
Competitive.
Yeah, it's very competitive, but because it's Berlin, you can't like be overtly competitive, but I am. Mm-hmm. And my boyfriend, speaking of, coined the great term for the clientele of this spin studio that we go to, which is the Berghain Bourgeois. So it's all techno music. God. Yeah. It's all techno. It's in a dark. It's like sometimes there'll be house.
Don't worry, Chris. They play house sometimes.
Thank God. I was wondering if there's any other options. And it's like if they had any Katy Perry or house.
No Katy Perry. No Katy Perry. No fucking Taylor Swift ride or whatever the fuck.
Well, your loss.
It's like a dark basement and they have lights and like there's no like mantras, like they don't fucking encourage you. There's no talk, like there's no sort of like spiritual, like this is your journey, you're here for you, blah 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 blah. It is just techno. Everyone's wearing black. Often you like come out and there's like two guys in huge sweatshirts talking about the sets at Panorama Bar last weekend. And it's hard. It's harder than SoulCycle. It is hard. It's like harder than Peloton. Like it's the best.
Is there any yelling involved?
No, certainly not.
Okay.
If you speak,
No talking.
no talking, and
No talking at all.
no talking. And in fact, like at the beginning, sometimes like new people will show up, and like the instructor will be like, "Excuse me, everyone can hear you. Please be quiet."
Oh God. Are the instructors hot at least?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots. Many of them are hot. I think you get bonuses if you make your own mixes, for example. Some of them are are DJs. Some of them are former DJs. Got out of the lifestyle and now they do cycling. I've been going for a long time, so you say hi to people. Sometimes you run into them at Berghain. Like it's a whole stupid. I mean, my boyfriend. What he said is true. It is like it's very much like a scene and like a sub scene, which is like you like counteract your horrible clubbing with very rigorous cardiovascular exercise.
I'm cool with that.
Sure.
Yeah.
A tale as old as time. A tale as old as time.
And you can dance longer because you've been training. You've been training
because of my cardio.
Yeah.
You've been training. I've been training for this my whole fucking life. Let's go for the sunrise set, baby.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what that does for your stamina.
Yeah, my stamina.
God damn it. I find that I just don't like off-brand workouts, and that's my problem.
He's closed-minded.
SoulCycle is what it's like. That's the baseline.
No, but it sucks. I was just at fucking SoulCycle on Friday. It sucked, dude. It's way better. This is way better. It's way harder.
It's dead now. I mean, it's over now. I mean, it's over now. But in its heyday, if I went to we would go to this place in Paris, and I'd be like, this just is off.
Well, that's because they only started exercising in Paris 3 years ago, and they don't know how it's done.
I didn't know the Germans were so known for exercise.
Yeah, they are. They are.
I was going to make a dark joke. I'm not going to. It used to be in Berlin. The Germans have a very particular way of exercising, which is very slow for long periods of time.
It's because nobody works, but
you go to the, and they also believe in sort of natural, that movement and natural, blah, blah, blah. And you can't get too, you can't get too excited or your blood, they have real sort of superstitious beliefs. They're also afraid of moving. They're afraid of moving air, but they also believe you need to air out your apartment in a certain way, once. But they hate an air conditioner because they think it makes you sick. All this kind of stuff.
Afraid of moving air?
Yes.
This is not a flatulation joke. This is can you explain what that means?
They believe that fans or the air conditioner make you sick.
Oh God! I knew this was. No, that's fucking stupid.
I like that. So you could go into someone's house and they'll be able to know.
Yes.
They'll be able to know if who's moved my air.
They can sense it. Air was over there earlier. And now you have moved it.
This is wrong.
This is falsch. Yeah. No, and they also, but that's funny. They're very afraid of getting sick. But when you get sick, it's a known thing that if you need antibiotics for something, you have to lie to the doctor and tell them that you're going out of the country. You're going out of the country, and you have to appeal to their horrible racism and be like, I'm going to Serbia tomorrow, and I'm really worried that I'm going to be sick there, and I don't want to go to a Serbian doctor. And they're like, oh yes, okay, we'll give you an antibiotic. But otherwise, they're like, you need to drink this tea. This tea is very good for the Erkältung, and blah 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 blah. And and so you have to just you have to know the moves in order to get them to prescribe you anything, which is good on some level, but also there are some there are some things about modern life that are good, and antibiotics. In certain cases are one of those things.
Sure.
But the spin to the point about spin class and salad bowls down the street, American hegemony, American soft cultural power is real. And enough of us moved here that there was a demand. But to your point about off-brand exercises, all of the startups in Europe are off-brand, right?
Yeah.
They don't, I think the company that is analogous to this spin class that I go to which also does like weightlifting hit classes, is like Orange Theory, probably.
Also off-brand, but
yeah, well, yeah, but it's ubiquitous, is my understanding.
It's big in Germany,
but not Orange Theory. It's like off-brand, and we don't have class pass. We don't have class pass. Like they have a bit of class pass, but the thing that's popular is called like Urban Sports, and it's basically like class pass. And then there's also like, what's another one? We don't have Zappos. We have Zalando.
Yes, I'm familiar. Well, Zalando's a pretty giant corporation. I'm familiar with Zalando.
Do they have it in the U.S.?
No, but they bought High Snobiety, so I think people learned about it there. But I know about it because my friend Ellis like works there, and she like
I know Ellis.
Yeah.
I know Ellis from Vice. Yeah.
So she was like, I have to move to Berlin, and then she hated it, of course, and now they're back in London. but I was like,
I didn't know that.
I knew that it was like but it's not like super familiar because it's the same idea as Zappos though.
Yeah, and also like the delivery. Oh God, what's the fucking delivery app everybody gets in the US? What's it called?
DoorDash?
There's several.
No.
Uber Eats.
Postmates?
No, the other one. The one that everybody
Deliveroo. GoPuff.
Seamless?
Seamless, yes. Oh my God. So European.
Lauren, Seamless has been lapped many times.
Yeah, of course. But we don't have any of those, right? We have all sorts of we have Volt.
Do you not have Deliveroo?
Do we have it? Maybe we do have Deliveroo. I don't even know.
I just watched this week's John Oliver, and he unpacks the delivery stuff, which we've all heard is so bad,
Yeah.
And then you find out, like, it's kind of insane. Like, I didn't realize.
It's even worse than you thought.
Restaurants make, like, if you order $25 worth of food, the restaurant gets like $10. Basically.
It's just, this is how you can tell I'm a good person, is that I can't even name the delivery apps. I don't use them.
So brave.
It's so brave.
I know, I'm brave.
So brave.
I think that's one of the coolest parts about you, Lauren.
I think that my bravery, or the fact that I don't get my food delivered?
All of it.
Thanks.
They're well connected.
Thanks. That's why I'm on How Long Gone.
I had a few questions based off of the excerpt from your book, which I have not read yet, unfortunately, but I'm gonna buy it soon.
Thanks.
I'm gonna yeah.
I don't care if you read it, just buy it.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
No, I'm just kidding. It's great. You should read it. Let's hear it. Questions.
Well, now I'm kind of on the fence.
Okay.
Is there a song that has been stuck in your head for decades?
For decades?
Or maybe just like a very long period of time. You know when you have like an anxiety song stuck in your head that might just randomly pop up out of nowhere? A little repeating riff or bar?
That's a good question. But when I write, or when I'm like in a zone of some sort, I listen to the same song over and over and over again. And so, yes. And then they turn into like mantras, like they're not songs anymore. And the one that I'm thinking of is this like horrible German trance track called Mein Kopf ist leer, which means my head is empty. And it goes, my head is empty, my head is empty. Think, I can't anymore. Like I've tried and like nothing worked. And it just goes over and over and over. Like my head is empty, over and over and over again. So that one
plays in your head when you're just trying to get going, get motivated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a sort of ironic motivator, I suppose. Or also when you're like, or you're like, I can't think anymore. And instead of thinking I can't think anymore, you think Mein Kopf ist leer.
Sounds like a real punishment.
It's a punishment. Yeah. I listen in general. Sorry to say this is I'm being so annoying. I mostly listen to fucking DJ sets when I'm working.
Can you explain why you said DJ sets in such a way? The literal word DJ sets?
Well, should I say sets? What would that mean?
No, you said DJ sets, but just the way you said it, you're just like
the disgust.
Well,
the disgust was palpable.
The disgust in
We've just talked about Berlin so much.
Sure. It's hard to escape the DJ culture as much as you try.
Yeah. And they're everywhere, and the music is everywhere. And then you're like, actually, somehow this is like the music I listen to now.
Okay. So you're doing some NTS mixes, some whore?
Oh, yeah. Some horror. I don't know. It's her. Can you do it?
Hell.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Hell.
It's the O with an umlaut. Yeah, that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I'm writing, as we discussed, like I find it very difficult, and I need momentum, and I need like energy, because otherwise, like I will become very depressed and overly anxious. So I listen to like dance music.
And also dance music oftentimes does not have lyrics that can be distracting when you're writing words.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Or the lyrics are like so stupid that they seem like not lyrics.
You're not listening to the National.
No, I'm not listening to the National, and I'm also not listening to classical music, or like I had a psychotic friend that I no longer speak to, who listened to very loud rain sounds while we were working on his earphones.
When you say working,
oh, he was working. We would like work in the cafe or whatever. He was definitely working.
okay.
And
okay.
I was like,
I was making a sexual reference. Sorry.
Yeah, he was making like the rumor about Leonardo DiCaprio wearing his AirPods while he has sex.
Because I've played
No.
rain sounds while I'm putting in work. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. You're also psycho. Stay far away from me. He put that. I was like, can I hear it? One time we were sitting in the cafe, and I was like, can I listen? And he put the earphones. I put his headphones on my ears, and it was the rain sounds were so loud that I was like, I need to get away from this man. Like, I need to get away from this man.
So this is like a Garden State scene where you put on the headphones and play it instead of the Shins.
Yes, it was.
He's
the
listening
rain.
to rain sounds track 12 at full volume, like a serial killer.
There's a certain like denial of reality involved there that I found disturbing.
If the rain stops, I kill again, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Too true. Yeah. Anyway, next question. You have some questions, some more.
Well, I guess speaking of rain sounds, you a sentence that you, or a phrase that you wrote stuck out of my head: the ambient tension of contemporary life.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, it just had a nice ring to it, and it actually kind of sounds like a title of a national song, oddly enough. But
that's true.
Could you speak a little bit more on that dope line?
Well, I think that because of our, the phone's so boring to say. Yeah, you're like, something's always happening on your phone. What's happening on your phone? You don't know. You could always look at your phone, right? The fact that you could always look at your phone, but also everyone around you could always look at their phone. Everyone around you is watching you. You don't know, it's not just like the horrible drama of being perceived like by your loved ones. It's like the public sphere is like being in public is like kind of a nightmare, because there's some like, who knows who's filming you, like someone's trying to fucking prank you, and so like the thing that I get like
Ashton
saddest
Kutcher's
about,
could be around any corner.
Yeah, these like, but they're like just annoying kids, like there's not Ashton Kutcher. At least Ashton Kutcher like had like a whole apparatus. It's just like fucking kids on their phone like trying to get famous.
Okay.
And like what I really don't like is the like horrible suspicion I have now whenever anyone comes up to me and asks me a question. You're like so unused to people engaging with you in public in any way that like anytime someone does,
right,
you're like, what do you want from me? When actually like sometimes they they're trying to help you, or they have a question that you can help them answer, they can easily answer for them, or like,
right.
Or you're at a bar.
You might have a piece of toilet paper stuck to your shoe, and they're trying to assist you, and then they made you take your headphones off, and you are in a position where you're about to physically attack them, perhaps.
And you're not, exactly. And you're not like allowed to talk to people at bars anymore, and like this, and it goes both ways, right? So you also sort of keep your distance from everyone, like you don't make eye contact, like it's all just sort of, it's very stressful actually, and people think they're avoiding stress by not engaging in like face-to-face interaction, but actually they're like just like living in the stress of the potential for being interacted with. And I think that sucks.
I think that stinks. Okay,
It's
yeah.
bloody awful.
Yeah.
It's bloody awful.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think
we hate it.
I think you're right. I mean, I think you're right, and it's definitely
Say more on that, Charlie.
It's definitely something that happens. It's definitely something that happens, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
Well, it's only getting worse unless you have the confidence of a straight white man. We can go up and talk to anyone in a bar, tell random strangers whatever we feel like.
Those girls you talk to, they're going to tweet about it. They're going to tweet about it, and they're going to misrepresent the joke that you made for likes. I know.
Jason,
they're going to step all over my
punchline. Used to be like that. I don't think anybody does that anymore. I mean, maybe in like a flyover state bar that has peanut shells in the ground, like old school. But I don't think in modern society, like I don't think a guy in New York City at a bar would approach anyone.
It's a little more treacherous, but I'm
under a certain age. I'm
a firm believer, and it's how you say it, not what you say.
Yeah,
kind of. But
I think, but it also depends. Like you've got to find the right person. Like you've got to find the right person. Where some people, they really are like, "Why are you speaking to me? Why are you talking to me?" And that is also so dispiriting that you have to like be able to read people in order to like understand if like any kind of interaction.
Yeah, I can just tell by looking at a bitch if she's gonna hate me. and I move on to the next one.
Remember Jason, remember when we were in Jason and I were in Indiana because we were making some coffee and we
weren't pouring a cup. We went to a coffee making company.
Tinker. We did a collaboration with this coffee making company, and when we were there, we're at the hotel. We're in Indianapolis, Indiana, and
I remember this.
These two girls walked by, and one of them was wearing this like pretty obscure hardcore band T-shirt, and I was like, "Nice shirt," you know what I mean? And the way that she looked, the disgust in her face. Like I was about, like that I was, it was unbelievable. She was so annoyed that I gave her a compliment and just, I didn't say anything else.
It was like a Shai Hulud shirt or something.
Yes,
it was like a
obscure.
It was an old obscure band that has not played, it's a band we used to listen to high school and nobody really knows about them anymore.
Yeah.
We just randomly saw these people wearing it and we're like, wow. Cool shirt.
But it's such a fucking bummer because
as if we said, "Hey, nice tits."
Yeah.
She probably looked at how you were dressed. I mean, she probably, I don't know, whatever, we're projecting now, but she probably looked at how you were dressed and how you looked. And she was like, these guys are making fun of me. These guys couldn't possibly know this obscure hardcore band. Fuck them, right? And
Chris is tatted up though.
That's possible.
But what were you wearing?
That's actually
not to blame the victim, but what were you wearing?
We don't victim blame on how long gone. No, I think that I was probably. I mean, look, I dressed like a cop, so I'm sure she saw that, and
yeah, exactly.
Acted accordingly. But I was just like, oh,
well, he was wearing this black Fred Perry shirt with yellow trim.
Oh no!
Is there something? Oh my God! Now I see it now. As soon as I said it, I see it.
I told him to leave it at home, Lauren. I told him to leave it at home, but he fucking packed it anyway. I told him.
Well, speaking of looking at phones, and you could always look at your phone, and the people you're with can always look at their phone. Before smartphones existed, the first time, like when you wake up in the morning, we all just pick up our phone and look at it. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
What did you do? You remember what you used to do before that?
Well, no, because I'm 33. What did I do? Like, when did I get a smartphone? I must have gotten it.
I was only this many when I got a smartphone. That's kind of what you're saying?
Well, I must have gotten a smartphone when I was in college, right? So maybe like middle of college. So, but also, what did I do when I lived in fucking West Virginia? I don't know. I went to my fucking AP classes and I succeeded and I got the fuck out of there. Like,
but I don't mean with your life. I mean like.
But I'm saying like I probably woke up and drove to school and was at school from 7 a.m, right? So I don't really remember. I wish I could. I wish I had a journal. I don't keep a journal. And I wish that I knew like what I was doing.
I know what I was doing. I was reading a lot more.
Yeah, but I didn't really read.
You'd wake up and read.
I probably did wake up and read, and I read a lot of magazines.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think of. I mean, I read a lot more magazines too, but like the very second you wake up, do you just lay in bed and daydream?
Yeah.
Do you pick up the phone and call someone? Do you just immediately get out of bed.
No, you probably get it.
Yeah,
you
you
probably
get up
just get
faster
up
because it's
faster.
boring. I mean, you're not like I like writhe around in bed for like an hour looking at my phone when I wake up. And like sort of you're kind of like sending emails a bit too, so it's like you're not totally unproductive.
I'm working,
Mama. Well, I have more memories of like what I did at night because I was just like in my room in West Virginia, and like I would like read the magazines. I made so many fucking collages out of magazines, and I would like do AIM, but not in this compulsive, like the way that I WhatsApp people like is like compulsive, and like sit in my room and like
so we
think
were
about
collage.
stuff. I was collaging. That's my vulnerable tidbit about me that you get at the end of the podcast if you make it this long. And like being miserable and like having crushes on guys and like them not reciprocating. I don't know, I wish I knew, but like, I wish I knew what I was doing. What were you
I'd mostly
doing?
just lay around and have crushes.
Yeah. I read books. But I wasn't reading like serious books because I don't really think I like knew about them or have access to them until I went to college.
Doing Mad Libs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was studying for the SAT. I'm not kidding. I was studying for my
Damn,
AP
you're a nerd, huh?
What'd you get on the SATs, fucking nerd?
I got it. Oh man. Okay, so Nomi Fry, friend of the pod, asked me. We did an event in New York, and she asked me. She's like, sorry if it's a weird question, but the way that your logic works in the book, like, are you good at math? And I was like, actually, I got an 800 on the math SAT. And I got a 5 on Calc BC as well. And I got these messages from this crazy guy on Instagram afterwards that was like, you're self-obsessed psycho. All the critics think, the thing that your critics say about you are right. Like, I'm so disappointed in your event with Nomi, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, is this because I said I got a perfect score on the math SAT? Because I would say it again. Yeah, I was a nerd, but what else could I have been? There wasn't anything there, right? Like, there weren't even like parties really.
Nothing but steers and queers.
The sport, yeah, you could go to like whatever sport season it was. We didn't even have a movie theater, I think, until I was 16 years old. So we like drove around and sat in the Taco Bell parking lot. And I didn't
go down to the creek for a spell.
Yeah, up the creek, Jason.
Up the creek for a spell.
The creek. Yeah, it's the creek.
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it out. I'm glad you made it out.
Thanks.
I am glad you made it out because it sounds like you were. Because this is true about a lot of people that are successful,
She's a survivor,
and come from a small town. It's like you were kind of obsessed with getting out.
Yeah, and they always say you got out too. Like getting out is the verb that they use, which is sad. Like because there is. I mean, you were talking about this. There is this sort of like, oh, you think you're better than us, but there is also this sort of like, I want to get out too. Kind of like resentment and like hopeful, like sort of willfulness.
They didn't have the stones to do it.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Yeah, I mean they're told that it sucks out here, right? Like people are like, no, actually, I had this like late breaking class war realization last time I was in West Virginia because I was living in Ithaca, New York, which is incredibly beautiful, and I went to West Virginia, and I was like, oh my fucking God, they tell us it's beautiful so we don't get mad that we're fucking poor. And I was like, it's not even fucking beautiful here. And I was like, oh, way better. And it was like really upsetting to me at the time. And now it's just kind of, it's very sad what they have done to it. Because it did used to be beautiful. It did used to be beautiful, but no longer.
Damn, that's a real HBO's Girls style rant right there. Well done.
Is it?
For sure.
Is it? What?
Yeah.
Not derogatory. Not derogatory.
I've only watched, I think, 2 seasons of it, maybe. So I couldn't say.
It's having a renaissance right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
I'm just saying.
To me as well.
Lauren, thank you for joining us on How Long Gone. No Judgement is in stores everywhere, wherever you buy books. Make sure you pick that up from Amazon, my favorite small bookseller.
I'm going to go buy it in New York at a real bookstore. Remember those, Chris?
Yeah, buy it at a real bookstore.
Yeah, hit 3 lives.
And I'm gonna I'm gonna go breathe on. I'm gonna move someone's air when I buy that book.
But do not speak to any strangers in the process of purchasing it.
I cannot
figure it out. But the book is everywhere, and it's great. Go get a copy, and We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Oyler.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.